Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Ducks football.
We got to elevate and make our teaching standards elite.
Got him deep. He's open. He's got it. He's gone. It is picked up. Intercepted. Oregon with the ball.
There can't be any type of fading. It doesn't work that way.
20, 50. He's going to score. 10. Touchdown, Oregon.
We invested a lot of time in that, and we expect that to pay off in a big-time way.
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. Now, let's talk Oregon Ducks football. Alongside Mike Jorgensen and Joey Mack, here's the voice of the Ducks, Jerry Allen.
Welcome to the show. Wednesday, a game week. It's great to be back playing football again. I know it's. I said welcome to the show, game week. What did I say?
I'm just already taking you off your rails.
You're rusty.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm rusty.
You're rusty.
Welcome to the show. It's Thursday. We have a Friday game, so today's Thursday. Isn't that the way that works?
We're off to a great start today, everybody.
Actually, I think that's what I was thinking because we're backed up a week.
Oh, I know.
Or a day. So today is Thursday in football.
And last week I was Jorgie.
Yeah, you missed it all.
And
You missed that. It was,
and a lot better.
Oh, no.
It's been Thursday all day for me. I mean, Thursday
Your hair's
practice,
not
tomorrow's Friday walkthrough. It's on Thursday for the game on Friday. And what did I miss?
It's the coach's show.
The
coach's
color of the
show.
hair.
Hair?
Yeah.
At least
The youth.
Yeah, yeah.
Am I getting grays yet?
No, not you.
No,
Will be though. You
jeez.
will be.
You'll notice it when the nose hair starts turning gray first.
Okay, where are we going with this?
Gotta have fun with it. You gotta have fun with it. I throw the flag. No, don't throw the flag. Last time you did, you hit me in the head. I ain't going with that. Cal, Friday night. Friday Night Lights. It's different. It's special. I think the fans appreciate it and enjoy it. I think probably some of the kids do because it reminds them of high school Friday night games, Friday Night Lights, huh?
It's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, in a way. I mean, night games obviously are a blast anyway. It just it maybe isn't great for the coaches or the players or what have you, but it just takes you back. And again, Saturday night isn't when high school football used to be played. It was always Friday night, right?
Right.
We get a chance to enjoy it this week under the lights, Otson Stadium, the fans. Looks like it's going to be a great day this far out anyway. So I can't wait.
I know it's tough on the fans, though. A Friday night kickoff is tough.
It's harder.
On
No
the
doubt.
fans.
No doubt.
So, get to Otson Stadium as quick as you can. If you have a calendar, if you need a calendar invitation to put on that work calendar, just let me know. Happy to send one your way that says, I don't know, work meeting 3 to 5. Gets you there a little early, gets you out of the office earlier. I'm all for that.
No, I talked to a lot of people already. A couple yesterday, today said, hey, we're taking off work at noon. Going to get home, get things together, and come out and start tailgating early. So I think people adjust to it. It's only once a year. I mean, last year I don't think we even had one. Obviously, we didn't have a last year because of COVID. A Friday night Cal matchup, though, and get the taste, I guess, out of your mouth of last game. I mean, it's. I talked to Coach today, and he said, we're looking for a 1-0 this week. Week and a half ago is gone. Can't do anything about it. Can't cry. Just got to go back to work. So I think that's what this team's been doing for the last bye week.
Yeah, and that's been the message, I think, really from everybody that I've talked to after practice this week. A number of those guys that you hear from coming up after we talk with Coach Wilson, and I think that as Anthony Brown said it, maybe he said it best. Like, we reflected after the game. Then we got to the bye week, got healthy, started prepping for Cal. I think that sometimes that sour taste that's in your mouth is maybe it lingers a little longer when you're outside the program, because when you're in the program, the guys just go right back to work. That's kind of been the message for the last really week plus, guys. And this is going to be a fun matchup, I think. It's going to be a challenge for the Ducks with being snake bitten by the injury bug, guys. So we'll talk about that, but certainly a team that has had to embrace the idea of next duck up, and we'll see that again coming up on Friday.
Yeah, we're going to see some guys that before the season started, we didn't really know their names, but now they are almost like regulars because of those injuries, and it's tough to deal with, but we move on, and that's what we're going to do tonight on this Thursday night. It's Thursday because the game is Friday, not Saturday.
I want everybody to know that I did not plan to completely mess him up like that, but I'm so glad that I did.
Ken Wilson's going to join us, co-defensive coordinator and linebacker coach with us. We got a lot to talk about Coach Wilson with tonight coming up next here. And then Joey's got, I think, like 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 interview cuts, right, with the guys?
A lot of good ones.
20.
It takes the under on that.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. The Country Financial Studios, we're going to get our Pepsi Coaches Spotlight immediately when we come back here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 15 convenient locations across Portland, contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game. Well, Bob, I don't like Hunger's chances here, not against this feast of an IHOP defensive line.
That's right, Jim. They got pancakes, sausage, bacon, hash browns, and even scrambled eggs.
They've been slaying Hunger this whole season.
Empty tummy, 42 pancakes. The blitz is on, and Hunger is demolished once again.
It never stood a chance, Bob.
Feast on IHOP's Game Day Family Feast and get 20% off pickup or delivery. Order with code GameDay20. Offer is valid for online ordering for a limited time at participating locations. Not valid with other coupons or discounts. Tax and gratuity excluded. Further restrictions may apply.
It's Looney Tunes versus Goons, and LeBron James is leading the charge in Space Jam: A New Legacy, now available at Redbox. When LeBron and his son are trapped in a digital space, they join the Looney Tunes gang and face a powered-up roster of NBA and WNBA stars on the court. The high-stakes game scores lots of laughs and shines a light on the power of being yourself. Watch Space Jam: A New Legacy and make it a Redbox night. Visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch.
Ducks football lives here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. They can help save lives by not having play dates. That's right. By replacing get-togethers with virtual play dates and video chats, they can help slow the evil spread of germs. And if your superheroes do go outside, make sure they continue their superhero wing by staying 6 feet away from others to protect everyone in America land. Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Coach's Show inside our Country Financial Studios. Jerry Allen with Jorgie, and joined now on the show by our co-defensive coordinator and inside linebacker coach, a man who's just plain fun to talk with. I wish you could hear us between the breaks. That's right. Ken Wilson joins us tonight on the show. Good to have you back, Coach.
Thank you. It's fun to be here.
32 years coaching, most of it with championship teams, bowl games, third year at Oregon. I mean, I look at everywhere you've been. Success all around you. You've worked with some great coaches and obviously some great athletes.
Yeah, I've been blessed. It's been fun, and it was good 3 years ago that get a chance to come over here and see this place and have a chance to come coach with these guys. And we got a great staff and enjoy every day we're around here. You know, the wins are obviously more fun, but you know we grind and a lot of great football ahead of us.
What a great journey you and your family have had, frankly. I mean, it's not often that we see, and we've been doing this 30-plus years together, a coach that's been in two places for 25 years or so, down in Reno and up in Pullman, here now 3 years and that type of deal. I mean, what a journey you guys have had to be able to enjoy all this together.
Yeah, we've had a great experience. We were able to raise pretty much our children in Reno. Very few coaches get a chance to do that from kindergarten through high school. My daughter got the short end. She got all the way to the sophomore year in high school and then finished her high school in Pullman, Washington, graduated from Washington State. But we've been really lucky in the amount of moves and what we've been able to do as a family. And I've got a football family, so I've got a football wife that loves football. My kids were both sports people and both graduated with sporting degrees from college, and it's been a really, really fun ride, and it keeps going here.
Yeah.
Your son played football in Nevada, didn't he?
He did. He was a 3-year letterman there, and
that's cool.
And my wife's a graduate there, so we've got some footholds in those schools.
19 years on the Nevada staff, and also an administrator for part of the time. Now, how did that all happen?
Yeah, I got a chance to be. I went to school, went to grad school in sports administration. Had a chance when my kids were younger to become a assistant athletic director at the University of Nevada, and I'd gone to school and I wanted to try it. And Coach Alt down there, Chris Alt, gave me a chance to do that. So I went into the athletic department for 3.5 years. Got to coach Little League, got to see Pop Warner football, do some normal adult dad things that I was not getting to do. And then Coach Alt had been out of coaching. He came back in after 3.5 years. And, when he came back, he called my wife, and she said, "How you doing, Coach?" And she said, "Good, your husband's coming back into coaching." So the next day I moved my office and went right back in, and have enjoyed every minute of it. We had a lot of success down there, had a chance to work over at Washington State, have some good football teams over there, and then, 2 Pac-12 championships here, and we're looking for bigger things.
It was pretty amazing. You were a defensive coordinator at the age of 32?
Yeah, I think 29.
Oh, 29.
Yeah.
Youngest.
I mean, that's. Yeah. I mean, how did you handle that? How did it go?
Well,
that's an early age.
I just knew I just wanted to. We just did a lot of things, and we acted like we knew what we were doing, and we convinced our kids to play hard. And my first game as a calling defense as a D coordinator was in this stadium against Oregon. Oh. So. Tony Graziani was the quarterback. Saladin McCullough was the running back, and we didn't even know what we were doing, but we just blitzed a lot and had our kids play hard. So it was exciting. We had a chance to win a bowl game when I was my first year as a defensive coordinator down at the Las Vegas Bowl, and I had great people around me, some veteran coaches around me that gave me a lot of help and support, and it was fun.
Pretty amazing.
I'm curious. You were in Nevada when Coach Mastro was there, and they developed the pistol. I mean, run-pass option came around, the spread, everything. You were in designing defenses when all that transition, everything started to happen. How wild and crazy was that?
I can still remember Coach Mastro and Coach Ald and some of those guys snapping a towel ball in the locker room, trying to decide the distance between the center and the quarterback where you could actually handle that snap and still have the running back run game behind it. They practiced it at different levels, and I can remember all that. And then, obviously, once they got into the triple option, out of the pistol, and all the things that you see all over the country today, nobody was doing that, and we had to defend it. So there was a time there where we were the only people in the country that really knew how to defend the pistol because we saw it every day in practice. So people were always calling us, going, "Hey, how do you do this? How do you look? What are you reading? What are you looking at?" Because it was brand new, and now it's just so crazy to us that you see it in Pop Warner football to NFL football, and teams doing all different things out of the pistol now.
Crazy.
Some really good teams that you had, obviously, up in Pullman with Washington State, Coach Leach. We won't go down any of those stories because you said your daughter has better ones anyway. Right. So, but you make the entrance here. You become part of the staff here. First year Pac-12 championship game, win it, Rose Bowl. Pretty special. I mean, that had to have been just an amazing next step for you.
Yeah, it was. When I had a chance to come to the University of Oregon, as Oregon fans know, there are very few schools in the country where you can sit in a recruit's house and say you have a chance to win a national championship and really believe it and have the facilities and have the wherewithal to do it. And Oregon's one of those places. And at that point in my career, very happy at Washington State, but when you have a chance to come work with the best of the best, at the best of the best, and have a chance to win and build a national championship contender and work to that national championship, I couldn't pass that up. It's too exciting, and we're on those steps, and we talk about it every day. And obviously this Saturday or this Friday night now is the next biggest step to that, and we got to go one step at a time, and this is the next step, and we just got to keep working at it.
You're in a lot of young people's homes, and you already mentioned, recruiting and how special it is to be at Oregon. A lot of the young guys you're talking to now grew up as 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds with Oregon and Nike and ESPN and who Oregon is. I mean, how much does that impact you when you're recruiting? How much does that help you?
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing how many young men now that are in high school, finished high school, even in our program, that played video games when they were little and were DeAnthony Thomas or Marcus Mariota, and they have their pictures on the wall. They have Oregon Duck flags in their rooms or banners, because that was the exciting thing when they were getting into football. Oregon football was the exciting college team, and that's where they got to be put into this sport, and so they're wide. Oh, are you from Oregon? It's like you're like,
wow.
Come on out and play for us. You'd be the next great one out there. So
you've always been a defensive coach for the most part. You've coached every position pretty much on the defense. That's a huge advantage for you, isn't it?
I think it is. I think when you have some experience in all the different levels of the defense, you've seen it from all different levels. You've coached. You know what a defensive lineman goes through. You know what a linebacker goes through. You know what a safety sees because you've seen it from their eyes, and you can kind of put that all together. And you, as being in the middle now with the linebackers, I can tell my guys, here's what the D linemen are feeling. Here's what they're seeing. Here's what the guys behind you are seeing. So I can kind of tie that together and put it into their eyes of what's happening around them on the defensive side of the ball in a game, the whole game.
So much more to talk about. A lot of questions, a lot of stuff to find out. We'll talk about the matchup with Cal coming up, too. It's our Pepsi Coaches Spotlight. Ken Wilson, co-defensive coordinator and linebacker coach. You're going to come back with more with him when we come right back to our Country Financial Studios here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Here's how Duck fans take flight with OCCU. Start with a Lucky Duck savings account. Move up to a Duck debit card with free checking. Then graduate to a Duck credit card. OCCU makes your financial journey easier with fewer fees, higher rates on savings, and lower rates on loans. Discover the OCCU difference at myoccu.org/Go Ducks.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show.
Oregon Football Coaches Show
On the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Coach's Show on this Wednesday night. It's just odd because the Friday night game, you back everything up, and I've been doing Thursday all day long today. I wonder I hope I haven't signed anything. Put the wrong date up. Our guest, Ken Wilson, co-defensive coordinator with us tonight, talking about all things Ducks and the history that that he has had. And Coach, I have a question here. When you're at Nevada and developed pistol, or actually had to defend against it, did it change, and have today's offenses changed the kind of kids athletically that you recruit now? I mean, it used to be, the power game and the eye and everything, and you had different type of athletes. But now with that spread game and the speed game, do you look for different kinds of kids?
Well, I think the whole game has evolved, right? You used to defend a small area of the field, but it had to be big, bruising part of the field. And now you defend 53 1/4 yards every play. Offenses, they can spread you horizontally and vertically. And when I started coaching, if you defended 55 snaps a game of defense, that was a long game. We're defending 90 snaps now. So obviously the players have to be in better condition. You're looking for things that help players that can be more first, second, third down players. It's very more specific on run, triple option. Are they a spread team? Are they a tight, how much versatility do they have? And you have to have players that match all those position groups and all those bodies that are on the field. If they go big, you got to go big. If they go small, you got to go small. But you're still looking for the biggest, fastest, strongest guys you can find to fit your scheme.
Need to move to Oregon. I want to start talking about Oregon. Okay, Nevada was great. Let's get that behind now. And Coach, it's a defense that looks like it's getting healthier, at least as healthy as you can get with guys that you probably won't have back the rest of the season, that type of deal. That's got to be for your inside linebackers, and particularly along the defensive line, getting healthy like they are. That's a huge advantage, or should I say a huge help to your linebackers, isn't it? Explain how that is.
I think it is. Just getting more guys in the rotation. We've had guys that have had to play so many more plays than they normally would have to play, just because of the depth that we've had. That throughout a long game, that's a lot of plays. And over 2 or 3 games, that's a lot of plays. And playing Ohio State and teams like that's a lot. So now getting a lot of those guys back, we can fix into better rotations, get guys off the field, keep more guys fresh, get more guys out there playing in their normal roles, and kind of expand what we're doing and go forward.
As you look at an offensive playbook, I think everybody thinks, well, there's so many different plays. Offensive linemen need to know, receivers, running backs, everything. The defensive side of the ball, is the playbook or the defensive calls, is it bigger? Are there more of them now than there were, say, 15, 20 years ago?
I would say there's more. There's probably more specificity. We've always had big play coaches. We start with these big playbooks, and then we only use that much of it. We use a tiny amount of that playbook each week. But what we try to do defensively is change stuff here and there, keep moving forward, and make teams prepare for a whole bunch of stuff that they've seen on film. But we don't take a gigantic amount into a game. We take in what we think our guys can perform well, play fast, and not have to think. And we just make small tweaks that, it might be a twist here, an alignment there, a depth here, that a team 4 games down the road, they have to prepare for all the things that we've done, the pre-snap movements, the post-snap move, all the different things. And it's really not a lot for our guys, but it looks like a lot when you watch it on film.
Inside linebacker position, when you're looking at obviously those 2 slots there, by losing 2 guys like you did, that's a pretty large percentage of that group. And yet the guys that have stepped up for you week after week, the Nate Haikalanis and people like that, it's pretty amazing how that group has been focused and ready to go, whether it's in the middle of the game, having to prepare for the next week, whatever it might be. We've been pretty amazed by the way that guys have stepped up for you.
Yeah, me too. I'm really proud of the progress they've made. I'm proud of the room. The guys that have gotten banged up, they continue to help lead that group. They're in all those meetings. They're helping the younger guys, and just the guys we've kept out there. They haven't blinked. At Ohio State, they didn't blink. Coming through this game, into this game, they're just playing. They just compete, and they want to be on the field as much as they can. Whoever that is in the room, they haven't shown their age. They just play hard, and they like to play the game of football. I tell people all the time, the best thing you can have as a football player is you got to like to play football. So many players today, they like recruiting, they like the social media, they don't like to play football. And we try to find guys that like to play the game of football. That's our secret, right? You got to love the game.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that you've got a guy out there in the middle named Noah Sewell that likes to play football. Can you quantify how much better he makes guys around him, covering for, let's be honest, some guys miss mistakes and he'll make up for it. He's hard to identify.
Yeah, he's a special football player from a special family, and he comes to every practice. If you come to one of our football practice, Noah Sewell practices as hard at practice as any football player I've ever seen. He practices like a game every day. Shorts, shoulder pads, whatever we're in. He's the hardest working practice player I've ever coached in all my years. He's always got a smile on his face. He's always picking people up. He's not a yelling rah-rah guy. You don't see that from him, but he will always be whispering, talking, pulling guys aside, working himself. I mean, he works so hard out there, and you can see it because he improves every time he goes out there. If he's not on the kickoff teams, he's on the side running up and down on kickoff, trying to keep his heart rate up in case he has to go on kickoff. It's just he does things that you go, that's special right there, what that kid does, and he's got a lot of improvement to make. He gets better all the time. You see just from year 1 to year 2, I mean, he just soaks it in. He wants to be a great football player, and those kind of guys are easy to coach.
You take me right to the question I wanted to ask, and then what's the difference between him in year 1 and year 2 for you as a coach so far?
Yeah, he just knows the defense. Last year at that Stanford game, he had 17 practices as a came out of high school, took 17 practices, and he's playing a Pac-12 football game. There's very few people that could do that, and after that game, he's our starting middle linebacker, and what that entails as being the guy that's making all the calls and seeing the adjustments and everything as a young high school guy that just got here, that had been with us a little bit, but watching, but hadn't been out there playing, and now coming into this year and knowing what he's doing and helping young guys and running and hey, this is how we do things. This is what time. Hey, yesterday I came in the meeting room and I see him texting. He's like, "Hey, we got to get these guys over here. We got to get started." He's in there to get the guys up to the meeting room. And I'm like, "Well, text them. Let's go. I'm ready. Get him up here." So, just watching him mature and improve is like our defense is going to mature and improve because of him and the guys that are around him.
Indeed, is special. All right, we can talk about Oregon. Let's talk about your opponent. Can't give away secrets, but Cal is 1-4. They easily could be 4-1. I mean, they had 3 games that could have gone their way. What is it about Cal's offense other than a great quarterback?
Yeah, they're a pro-style offense. They do a lot of things. They can throw. They do some good trickery. They've got all the run. They got the power run game. They can spread you out. They've got a coordinator that was an NFL coordinator. They do a lot of different personnel groupings. They're a tough offensive line. I've worked with their offensive line coach in the past. He's a really good offensive line coach. They know how to scheme. They know how to block. They actually have a couple really big, powerful running backs that have been there for a while. They got several tight ends, like we have several tight ends that they can move around, spread out, make you get in open sets, tight sets. So, they're a handful schematically. I mean, you got to be focused and playing hard every play, or they'll find a hole in your defense and they'll expose it.
Coach DeRuiter, the defensive coordinator last year, obviously here now, and has seen some of the stuff that they do. How does that help? I mean, players still got to make plays, right?
I think every little bit helps. I mean, we're always looking for one more trick that we can find, one more tendency that we can find. And because he has familiarity, they have familiarity with us. It's going to be a great game that way. It's going to be a great game. They're 2 teams. They obviously had a very good plan last year. They beat us. They're one of the teams that beat us. One of the few that since I've been here, and so our guys remember that game. And we're gonna have to play our best game of the year, just like we do every week. Yeah. You got to push forward, get better. So it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a night game. It's our guys are pumped for it. So we had a bye week last week, so they're ready to play.
Yeah, let's go do it. All right, final question, or maybe not a question. I guess it is. I was telling Georgie that I thought that I remember seeing somebody on one of our road trips last year, maybe 2 years ago, and I thought it was you. And I went up to him and tried to talk to him about football, and he said, "No, you got the wrong guy." Do you have a twin brother?
Yeah, I do have a twin brother.
He does.
You did?
We thought it was you just not want to talk to anybody.
I've used that in the past,
I
but
bet you have.
I have a twin brother. He was. We grew up obviously in a small town back in the Midwest, and he was the quarterback, and I got to be the running back, and he was the point guard, and I got to be the shooting guard, and he was the catcher, the short yard. I was the first baseman. So, yeah, we were in a town that we had 48 guys on the football team, and every boy in the little farm town played football if they could, and so he's a bigger fan than he's a huge Oregon fan. Where he's been to a few games. He got to go to the Auburn game last year, and he still lives back in the Midwest. And he thinks he's the greatest football coach he's always got the answers on Sunday. Let me tell you, he calls every Sunday and gives me all the answers to the questions I should have known the day before. So. But, yeah, I do. And he doesn't ever tell anybody. Yeah, he'll hide out.
That's great family stuff.
Yep.
I knew I told Jorgie. I said, I'm sure he did.
I do have a twin brother. Yep.
Well, Coach, I can't thank you enough for coming in, spending time. I know this is a kind of a family night for coaches because Friday game, but thanks for giving us some of your time. Really appreciate it.
I had a great time. Always fun to be over here with you guys. Thanks.
Look forward to it again. All right, Country Financial Studios, our Pepsi Coaches Spotlight. Joey's going to join us when we come back. You're going to hear from some players on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
It's Looney Tunes versus Goons, and LeBron James is leading the charge in Space Jam, A New Legacy, now available at Redbox. When LeBron and his son are trapped in a digital space, they join the Looney Tunes gang and face a powered-up roster of NBA and WNBA stars on the court. The high-stakes game scores lots of laughs and shines a light on the power of being yourself. Watch Space Jam, A New Legacy, and make it a Redbox night. Visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studios on this Wednesday, Thursday night. I'm not gonna get over it. Joey's got a bunch of guys for us to hear from this week as they get ready for Cal Bears.
Yeah, it was definitely a big week of players. After the bye week, I think they were anxious to get back to a regular practice routine, and part of that regular practice routine is actually talking with, well, people like me, people like Jerry, and people like Jorgie and everybody else. But Verone McKinley, let's start. What the heck did you do during the bye week?
You get to correct some things. People get their bodies back. You know, we've had a lot of guys dinged up, and we've had some injuries, of course. So going back, kind of reevaluating what we've done over the course of the past, 5 weeks, and then seeing how we can correct it in that bye week, and then coming into the next week, your body's healthy. We had a little bit of time to get it back and everything. So you're just back to that 1-0 process, and it really means something because it's like the second part of the season is here. So it's like you got to reset, regroup. We got to get back to the basics, back to what we've done well, correct what we've done wrong, and I think that'll help us game by game and taking one game at a time. Can't look further. You can't care about rankings. You can't care about the playoffs, all the other stuff. You got to focus on the task at hand.
And the task at hand is the California Golden Bears. Now, for Verone McKinley and the rest of the team, though, injuries have certainly been a topic of interest for the Ducks. A lot of other teams in America, but it seems like Oregon, player availability, they've been particularly snake-bitten by that. And one guy that they're really going to miss is C.J. Verdell. Let's begin on that topic. As Travis Dye, it was like he was speaking about his brother.
It was terrible. You know, you just hate to see it. You hate to feel it for him. That's, you know, we're best friends. We're, you know, all that, and you just hate to see that a guy who works so hard every single day, brings it every single day, just has an unfortunate end. But we've talked. He'll be good. He's going to get back on his feet, and he's going to come back even stronger.
Man, you could just feel the emotion there for Travis Dye, can't you? And certainly there's going to be a lot on his shoulders now. He says he's ready for it, though, and I think you'll like why.
Last year I had a few games like that because CJ was down a little bit last year too. But yeah, I'm definitely ready. I'm ready. My legs are ready. I feel good. I feel healthy. I'm ready to just do what the team needs me to do. If it's 20, it's 20. If it's 30, it's 30. If it's 10, it's 10. Whatever the team needs me to do, I'm ready for it.
You got to love that from a guy who's just going to step up. But it's not going to be just him, and more on that in a second. But first, we know that this is one of the best 1-2 punches that we've ever seen. In fact, this duo is combined for the most active yards by any 1-2 punch in the country over the last few years. Well, that 1-2 punch has certainly been pretty special. Travis Dye talking about C.J. Verdell and his 1-2 punch.
Just that extra step with CJ, that 1-2 punch with me and CJ, it's just something different. You can pound CJ, pound CJ, and then you put me out there, and then we go 60 or something like that, or you can even pound me, and put CJ out there, and you go 60. But we'll be okay. I just have to step up a lot more. A lot of these young guys have to step up a lot more. And they might not have expected to this early, but we're gonna be all right.
And now those young guys, Trey Benson, Seven McGee, Byron Cardwell, they're the ones that have been rotating. And Jim Mastro, the Oregon running back coach, always talks about how he wants to have 2.5 running backs ready to go every game. Well, Ducks have been pretty fortunate that it's been C.J. Verdell, Travis Dye, and then whoever's had the hot hand over the last few years. Well, now it's going to be a combination of those three guys to fill that 1.5 running backs, if you will. Travis Dye talking about those young guys.
They all have a lot of strengths. They're all, they're all really strong. They're all really fast, and they all can hit the hole, at a speed that, Seven can hit the hole like crazy, and Trey hits the hole with this force, this thump. Byron, he's so elusive in the hole. Byron reminds me of a lot of CJ, these guys are really good backs, and it's going to be really interesting to see who's going to step up. But it's going to define itself, and these kids are going to show up.
I'm curious to see what that rotation's going to look like behind Travis Dye. And how about the guys blocking for him? They've had some player availability issues along the offensive line. But Ryan Walk, he knows what it's like when those running backs are running right behind him, and he gave a scouting report on those three young guys you're going to see on Friday.
They're extremely talented. They got a good burst, and then like Byron he can run through arm tackles. He can run through any tackle, really. He's a physical runner. Seven's extremely dynamic. Trey's kind of the full package of receiving. He's a physical back, and he's got some explosiveness to him. So I look forward to watching those guys this week.
Now, Ryan Walk certainly stepped into a big spot for the Ducks this past weekend with Alex Forsyth going out. And Ryan Walk prepared accordingly. He talked a little bit about what it was like when he found out he had to play center.
Fortunately, I have a background at center. It's not like it was the first time I ever played center. So I had a pretty good understanding, and there was a feeling that maybe that was going to happen on Saturday. We weren't sure. We felt like Alex was going to be able to go, but Mirabal tapped me on the shoulder out before the game and said, "You got to go at center." And I knew that I'd be ready. I'd taken some reps at center. I'd watched film as if I was going to play both, and so when the time came on Saturday, I was ready to go center.
Alex Mirabal talks all the time about how the Ducks need to be versatile along that offensive line, and we're seeing that pay dividends with Ryan Walk able to step in like that. Now, there's also a point of communication with your quarterback, and I asked Anthony Brown this week, what was that like? What was the communication like between you and a different center?
It wasn't as difficult as you would think. Ryan does a hell of a job with preparing, so it wasn't as bad. And just moving forward, we're just continuing to get on the same page.
There you go, getting on the same page. And now, one final note, Ryan Walk did just talk about what it's like with player availability and dealing with that issue along the offensive line.
You obviously never want to see a guy go down, but at the end of the day, that's kind of the reality in football. It's going to happen sometimes, and, it became a reality for us this last week, and like Coach Mirabal says, they're not going to cancel the game. You got to have 5 guys that are ready to go, and so we feel like we did a pretty good job of that. We'll look to improve on that again this week.
Not going to cancel the game. Now to the Cal defense. Anthony Brown was asked to give a little scouting report on what he sees from Cal, and, well, for an obvious reason, because Tim DeRuyter was the defensive coordinator for Cal previously. Now here at Oregon, there's some similarities, actually, between these two teams and what Anthony Brown sees in the Golden Bears.
You can see the similarities between what our defense runs compared to what they're doing now, and see like their rules and see how some things changed from last year. And ultimately, it's just very similar in scheme.
There you go. And Ryan Walk also on the Cal defense. Look, this is a team that is actually pretty darn good at stopping the run. Ryan Walk.
Yeah, they're physical. They're heady football players. They know where you want to go with the football, and they got a nose for the football. They always seem to find a way to get to the ball, and they're relentless. They chase the ball, and they do a good job of their D linemen freeing up their linebackers. And so, like I said, they're a well-coached defense, and they stop the run pretty well. So we got a good challenge this week.
Got to get that run game going, and it's going to be a little different without C.J. Verdell out there. Going to talk about the defense in a second, Jerry.
All right, thanks, Joey. And Joey, Jorgie, both. I think next man up speaks to the quality of recruiting that Mario Cristobal has brought to Oregon, because that next man up in some years will be too young and not ready to go. These guys are.
Absolutely. And I love the way Travis Dye, frankly, almost speaking like the old man, saying these kids are going to be fine. He calls them kids, but at the same time, the confidence level he has and the depth at that position, Joey, is going to really be important for a week like this and the rest of the season.
Yeah, and especially because I think they do bring different things to the table, as you heard. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what those guys bring, because Jim Mastro was really excited about Cardwell and McGee, to the point where normally his plan is never to take more than one running back in each recruiting class. He liked these two guys in McGee and Cardwell so much that the Ducks took 2 running backs this year. That's how much he wanted these 2 guys on campus.
I think they're ready. I'm anxious to see on Friday night. We'll get that. I'm going to talk to some more guys when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics, because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We weren't going to lose. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a matter of fact, how did we not lose? Hey, we're not losing, so let's just going to do it.
This episode of the Mighty Oregon Podcast, presented by Oregon Community Credit Union, is a special edition with guest host and longtime voice of the Ducks, Jerry Allen. Jerry sits down with Duck great Dave Wilcox, examining his early farm life in rural Oregon, his time with the Ducks, and how he became one of the most intimidating defensive forces in NFL history.
Your home for Ducks football, the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the show. Joey Mack's got some great stuff with some players, and you got more for us, don't you?
That's right. Switching over to the defensive side, Brandon Dorlis. Hey, Ducks are dealing with that sour taste. Moving on from Stanford, Brandon.
Yeah, so coming off the loss to Stanford, it hurts a lot. But it's in the past, so we're on Cal now. Last year we lost to Cal, it still hurts and stings. So finally get our revenge for them. We've been preparing, just not to lose our identity. That's just something we got to keep on going.
They're moving on quick, aren't they? And, Brandon Dorlis is graded out as one of the best players, not just in the conference, but in the country at his position, according to Pro Football Focus. Verone McKinley with some positive things to say about Brandon Dorlis.
Brandon Dorlis is a monster up front. And like I said, you don't always, just see it because he didn't make the sack or he didn't have the TFL, but he may have made the ball bounce or the quarterback scramble. The Ohio State interception, perfect example. Nobody said anything. That's why I gave him credit, because he was the one who kind of forced that pressure, him and Braden Swinson. It was them two that were really up front, Brandon Buckner. So not every time, you see those things. And a perfect example is Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald may not get to play all the time, but Aaron Donald had 3 people on him. So now he has all these one-on-ones for guys. If I was an edge rusher, I would love to play with Aaron Donald, because you're going to get a one-on-one. So many times you have to win your one-on-one, you're right to the quarterback. So that's literally the perfect example for it.
Heck of a comparison, huh? And speaking about Brandon Dorlis and helping out the edge rushers, well, the Ducks got Kayvon Thibodeau back. They won't have him in the first half against Cal, but they're getting Braden Swinson back from injury. Pretty darn nice when you have Kayvon Thibodeau back, though, huh, Brandon Dorlis?
It's great to have KT back. Makes it getting better. He's getting better every day. I don't know. I'm happy to have KT back. To be honest, it was hard not having no edges. So yeah, it's good to have KT back. I'm happy. When KT's on the field, it's a big threat because they're scared of his speed. So when they're scared of his speed, I'm on the same side as him. It opens up a lot for me to work anything I want to do. So it's a great piece to have him back. See, I think I'm playing with y'all, but having KT on the field, man, it's a great addition, because I'm telling you, they get so threatened from him, and then they just forget about all 4 of us on the D-line. So it's just, yeah, it's good to have him out there.
There was a theme to that interview, wasn't there? A few different answers talking about Kayvon Thibodeau. Those edge rushers, though, it's not just Kayvon Thibodeau, as Verone McKinley mentioned.
Different do you think things are going to be for you guys as a defense?
No, I think that we'll be fine in the first half, because we have so many edge rushers that are really good, from Brandon Buckner, Swinson's back. You have Dorlis, you have Keon, who's been playing really well. It's another person that hasn't really talked about a lot. Keon's been doing a phenomenal job. You have Trevin Mike. We have so many guys. So, of course, KT's a big factor, but at the same time, it's like we're going to start from the very beginning, from the first snap, getting pressure and doing what we do. So.
There you go. So the Ducks feel like they have pretty good depth there. And, another guy that has stepped in that we've been talking a lot about in Ken Wilson's room, actually, is Keith Brown. He's come in with not a lot of experience, and he's been kind of forced into playing early. And I think he's done a nice job. He talked a little bit about what goes into his preparation, Keith Brown.
Coming early during the spring really helped me prepare for, just in case something like that did happen. Going through fall camp, I started getting more comfortable with the defense and stuff like that. So, when that did happen, I wasn't worried that, oh gosh, I'm not ready. I knew that I would be ready when the time came. So I've just been taking it game by game, really. I think I get better and learn more about every single game. I think the best reps come from the games, and at practice for sure helps, but the game reps really help for sure.
Keith Brown with a great head on his shoulders, you could tell just from right there. Now, talking about Verone McKinley, okay. Steve Stevens is his roommate. What does he think of Verone McKinley?
Verone is, he's very important, you know what I'm saying? He's one of those vets in the group, he's a 3-year starter. He's seen it all pretty much. He really understands what he's doing, and he really understands the grand scheme of things, and, we really lean on him to, he's our leader. He's the general, so we really lean on that guy big time.
He's the general. Brandon Dorlis on Verone McKinley.
When he's on the field, he's the general. You always hear V3 on the field. I'm in my stands during the games, and it'd be loud, and I'm always hearing V3 in the back end, communicating with everybody on the field. Yeah. It carries off the field and on the field. He's a great leader off the field and on the field for sure.
The general, Verone McKinley. How do you get that nickname, Steve Stevens?
So, I think the guy named him, I think he kind of brought the name upon himself, and I really feel like we kind of lean on it. It's like, hey, it's not too bad of an idea. The guy, he's a leader on the team. He, he always has good things to say. He always has, ways to get us all going. So I really feel like, the general, I agree with it.
All right, so I've always heard you can't give yourself your own nickname. I didn't. Jerry Allen gave me my nickname. But I think, we joke, but in all seriousness, McKinley was asked about self-evaluation. An answer like this is why the Ducks believe in him as their general.
For me, I was a little hard on myself after the Stanford game. I felt like I didn't make enough plays, and that's just, like I said, me being the general, I take a lot of responsibility. So we didn't get off the field on some third downs. I had a missed tackle or two. Some plays I could have made on the ball better or kept my leverage. So things like that. But for the most part, I want to be consistent. It's all about consistency in this football. That's how people get fired. You get inconsistent, and all of a sudden you get cut. So taking that demeanor and carrying it over for the next however many games we play, and just always resetting back to zero. That's my motto, reset back to zero after every play, because good or bad, you can't help the next play. So
he's a leader. And he talked a little bit, finally, on Verone McKinley about leadership. Where'd that come from for him?
Last year is when I just really felt like I took that step of being the vocal leader as well as having my performances on the field as well. So just guys who come before me who are like that, from Ugo, Javon, just that's the thing, how things were before. So just enforcing all that and taking it a step further.
Verone McKinley, the general, and he'll be leading his troops out on the field against Cal coming up at 7:30. I got one more for you, though, Jerry, coming up.
All right. If he wants to be called the general, I'm going to call him the general.
Whatever he wants.
All right.
Whatever he wants.
We'll come back with more on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
These are the sounds of a dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the show. Jerry Jorge and Joey Mack always save something for us in our final segment.
Well, I try to find something funny, and this week it was given to us by Ryan Walk. Guys, would you want to try to block Joe Salavea?
Oh, my.
No.
Impossible.
No.
Ryan Walk?
We've actually talked about this quite a bit in the O-line room, and I think all of us have agreed that we would need a double team probably just to get a stalemate against him in his prime. So even today, I think if you gave him one down to line it up, I don't see many guys getting much movement on him anywhere in the country. So
let's say you're double teaming with the center. If one of you scrapes off to the backer, is the guy who's left in trouble?
Yeah, that's a big man. I'll tell you that much.
That's Ryan Walk on blocking Joe Salavea, Oregon's defensive line coach. Now, the matchup that everybody inevitably will want to see after talking about that is Joe Salavea versus Mario Cristobal in their primes.
Wow. That's a vision.
That's a heck of a matchup.
That's an excellent matchup. Two prime candidates for Player of the Year in anybody's league.
Yeah.
My gosh.
No doubt about it.
5:30 pregame show. Tell me about the light show. OCCU is going to sponsor this,
Yeah.
huh?
Okay, so everybody make sure that you've got your GoDucks app on your phone. Make sure it's updated, because what you do is you open up the GoDucks app, and then instead of doing like the bracelets in the past or just using the flashlight on the back of your phone like we've done at Autzen Stadium in the past, you actually are going to open the GoDucks app, click on the menu in the top left corner, click on Duck Light. It's going to ask you to enable a couple things. One of them is the microphone. The reason, guys, the microphone's going to listen to the song being played at Autzen coming home, and then the screen and the flashlight on your phone are going to sync to the song.
It's going to be so
And
cool.
that's how it's going to be at Autzen Stadium.
Yeah.
That's for the Coming Home Light Show. OCCU
Can't
is
wait.
actually making it happen. So, guys, this is cool. And it's okay, maybe I'm not allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. this might actually come up again, not just at Autzen, but maybe at Matthew Knight Arena, maybe elsewhere. It's a really cool thing. Fans, you're going to want to see it. You're going to want to
Unbelievable.
You're right. You're not allowed to say it, so disregard what you just heard. 5:30 pregame show, 7:30 kickoff. I'm ready. I can't wait to get back to play football again. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Friday night.
I can't wait. I mean, I just cannot wait to see how this team comes out.
I think they're ready. I think they're anxious. I think they are hungry, and I know football fans are as well. We'll see you Friday night for the kickoff. Have a great rest of the week.
This has been the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.